this is a relatively long title, but yeah, hopefully it will be clear after this talk what it's about. Just a little introduction. My name is Ólafur Arason, but the way the Icelandic naming system is that you can just call me Olaf and it's perfectly fine. I've been programming since '94. I mean, people wanted me to start programming before, but anyway. And I've gone through a lot of different languages, environments, and whatever. And some of the jargon is here. The slides are going to be online, so not that it's that interesting anyway, the jargon. So why did we, what did we want, that I'm trying to describe? We needed a solution that was able to register users, usually done by somebody else. Sometimes, when people also need to reset their password and stuff like that, we needed to support that. So how did we really do it? I had looked at the cookie system, because I was interested to see how the security was. I also had previously a really paranoid coworker, so he was asking me a lot of questions about, does it have this or that? And I was just, also looking at that. I also, had recently fixed the bug, that was handling the how things are presented when you're logged out. Instead of, getting what you get now usually, which is wrong, is a JSON message. You should actually be getting a login screen. It's designed like that, but there's a bug. And because of that, I knew that how the cookie system was designed, that it would work for the URLs. And that's not a given, there are many cookies that would never fit into the URL scheme. So how are they done in Erlang? How are they done in CouchDB? So pluses are converted to minuses because plus in URLs and by extension all the things that a lot of the mechanisms that are used for calls are used for spaces. Slash is why you would need to get rid of those. They're replaced by underscore, and base 64 adds equal padding, which is also worrisome. So it's good that it just takes care of that entirely by itself. So it's username colon a timestamp. It's yeah. I think it's just this. If I recall, it's just a standard Unix time. So, and then an HMAC of those two values. So it's signed by the server secret and the user salt. And the user salt is updated whenever you change the password. So it works really well when you're setting your password because it actually invalidates the URL after you change your password. So it's pretty good for that. So how did we put it together? We were using my Python framework, which reacts to changes in CouchDB. We have two different pipelines. One to actually create a user, and that's you add a user to the database, then it creates it in the underscore user database and another place. But that's our implementation detail, and yeah. and the other creates a cookie and sends the email. I have a GitHub repository for all this code, so you can try it out yourself. I uncommented the email itself because I'm not gonna be trying to send an email, here. But at least you have a code to mess around with. So the user, the user information has been two different databases. One, the underscore user, and then another, which is, for example, just given to everybody that's logged in at least, because you can't run MapReduce functions on the user unless you're, I think, admin. Anyway, it's, so it's, we have to have a separate, database that just has that. It might be something I missed, but yeah, I would love to be proven wrong. And you can also, jimmy in if I'm going too fast or you want to ask something. But I think generally we'll be taking the questions afterwards. So what we do is just set the passwords because they're never going to be used to something really long like UUID. You can use whatever you want because it's basically just to have something there to update the salt. Then we get the user salt by watching the user database and then use the extension mechanism to get the servers. It says server salt. I thought I had corrected it everywhere. It should be server secret, which is a salt, but anyway. So this is just a quick explanation of the framework I'm going to be presenting it in. But it works either way. It's just makes it easy to have some code and working, and we're using it in production. It works really well, but you don't have to use it. So it's made out of plugins and extensions. So a plugin would be something that works on the data that's coming from CouchDB, so the document or something like that. You're, for example, validating it, checking if there's spam, sending to a different service, then checking if you should pass it to the next step. It creates a tree, so you can have multiple plugins subscribe to the same event, and then emits event, and that works it way around that. Extensions are used for are either enter or exit extension. So exit extension is, for example, saving a result, in the database. But enter would be getting something from CouchDB, like we're using it to get the config, value. But it also can be, like Facebook token, whatever. It's try to keep a bit of separation, so it's easy for people that don't know Couch at all. They can have something working without, knowing how it works. It's just self-contained. So there, it's split up into two different programs, and they talk to each other through a socket. That's to keep things, relatively simple. It's also often enough you're watching multiple, databases, multiple things, and you don't want things, like multiple pipelines to be running, you want multiple watchers to be running. And that works really well, like having the S changes would be the one that's watching the CouchDB, while the S tasks is the one that's initiating the pipeline. So this is some of the code to actually make the cookie. So what do we do? What this does is get the current UTC time, then adds for 7 days. Then makes it so it's in the format that Erlang expects. It puts the username and the timestamp together. Then it creates a hash map through SHA-1 of it. And then you create the cookie by combining those two things, and then go through base 64, which then you have to remove some of those things I was talking to you about before that are gonna cause problems, and Erlang is actually doing. I also did the exact opposite, decoding it to make sure that, it's not included here, but I wanted to make sure that I was doing everything right, instead of just, always, putting it into CouchDB, is this right? Just to be able to know exactly how to do things and what could go wrong. So, demo. Yeah. Let me see. Yeah, I had this running. Let's see. So, you see. So, this repository is made out of 2 Couch apps. One Couch app is really simple. It's basically just a filter for the _user to be able to check if a new user has arrived. It's just new user equals to true, if it's true or it exists. So it's pretty simple. The other makes a sign-in process where you here. I'll show you here. So this is sort of the magic, behind this. This is, or I should show you this before. Let me see. Okay, what this takes is the URL that's created is /new/user/cookie. So it takes those parameters in, and then just here puts the cookie into the auth session, which is should probably be checking if it's base 64, because if you put something else, it's gonna have interesting results. But yeah, and I have the. Let's see. Should be fine. Okay. So. Oh, yeah, sorry. I have to. Cool. So the first pipeline is up. And this looks for the signal create user. And let's see. Isn't it fun that I have really dummy username and password that's not at all safe as a admin, but it's on my computer, so it's fine. Okay, so I'm just going to set everything up, then I'm going to create a new user, and it's going to go through the entire, 2 pipelines. Okay, one more. I'm using usually supervisor D to handle, if this fails and stuff like that, but that's maybe for another talk. Hopefully I've done everything right. And make email equals to, okay, let's just find my private email. Create. Okay. And this here has, now I have a URL here. Here, copy, open link. See if that works. What? I am online. Oh, wait. What? Okay. Try Chrome. I'm using just the host files, so let's see. Where is it? Okay. Oh yeah, I see the problem. I thought I installed this latest update. Okay, I was missing the port. Okay, so this is very basic, but it's gonna. Let's first make it fail. It's always fun. Ooh. It's not much of a security, but at least. Okay, cool, and it works. Yeah. So, yeah, you can see maybe I had debugging mode on. I think I didn't debug. Did I debug the salt? Yeah, sorry. Anyway, shouldn't be doing doing that. Let's see, and going back to the slides. Did anybody understand what's happened? No.
No, not really.
Oh, okay.
Can you summarize, or what I have understood is you're sending an email with a standard password, yeah, and in the first contact with the user, you want that he changed it.
So what I did, this is a curl command. So it created a new user in a database I was watching.
Yeah.
That triggered an event on the task line of create user. So that created a user in the underscore user database that I was also watching. But it initiated it with a password that has a UUID key that I don't care if I know. Because all I want is the new salt. So I was watching also the underscore user with the filter I have in here, new user filter. So it just checks if it fulfills this requirement and then passes it along to the other pipeline. The other pipeline here, let's see, is the one that's doing the real magic of a magic method. So this is some of the code you saw before, So it gets the user salt and the secret, and then uses that to sign the cookie. So it's a legal cookie in CouchDB sense, and then creates a URL for me to use. And that all the thing that URL handling does is to put that cookie into your cookie, because it's a legal CouchDB cookie. So you're actually signed in as that user. And then as the signed user, you can change your password, which is what the script is doing that on the page that you saw. So it sends the new password, it gets a new salt, so this link doesn't work anymore. It's saved in the browser. I mean, it's like any other cookie.
Yeah, okay.
But yeah, there's, I think, if I remember my code correctly on the JavaScript thing, it actually gets the new cookie. Because it would be horrible to have the old cookie and then start doing something with it, because you would have the wrong login credentials. So you get the new cookie by sending the new password and username to the session, and then you get the new cookie. Yeah. So, yeah, the only thing I think the other slide was, just add Q&A. So, if you have any other questions about, like how it works, like this uses Tornado to have some asynchronicity and also managing stacks, like how stacks, if this plugin crashes, that not everything crashes, and yeah, stuff like that.
So, okay, I would say, first of all, thanks a lot. Okay, any questions?
Okay, just where do you store this? Because I mean, it's not a regular, let's say, CouchDB cookie. So I guess you place it again in the server somewhere, right? So it knows about it. Or?
So CouchDB doesn't store their cookies. What it does is sign them. So what it does is create a same kind of cookie out of the same parameters you're giving, username and timestamp. It creates that and does a 4-character, matching to see if it's correctly fits into the, if it, like creates the same cookie. So if it doesn't, like it's probably not valid. But if you have access to the secret, server secret, and have access to the salt of the user, you can create the legal CouchDB cookie.
Where do you store this?
So, wait a second, please.
Thank you. So where do you store this cookie to later, because you give it to the user with this URL, which was a show, a CouchDB show, right?
Yeah.
Where do you get it from there?
Where do I?
Sorry, maybe I misunderstood.
Oh yeah, I was talking about like it's not really the cookies are never stored, so that would also not work across servers, cluster environment. So there isn't any CouchDB doesn't know how many cookies it's done. It's just like has a mechanism of doing cookies and verifying them.
Yeah, okay, I know that CouchDB doesn't do that, but here, what do you do next with the new cookie?
I email it to the user. So that's commented out because like I don't have a email server set up in my computer, and even if I did, I would not, like I'm usually using DKIM, I think it's called, to make sure that it's legal, or you can use just SMTP server or something like that to handle the emailing, but I didn't just want to set it up for this example.
Any other questions? So I have to move back a little bit, sorry. Because then, just let's thank you again.
There's
okay, there's one, sorry.
Yeah, only really quick one. So you kind of sign the cookie the same way CouchDB does, so CouchDB can verify it as usual.
Yeah.
Okay, thanks.
That's for me.
Okay, thanks a lot. Now, stop! There's another one.
Sorry.
No, it's okay.
One last question. I don't know if it like fits right in there, but it is user authentication I care about. I just wanted to know what, in your experience, would be the best way to authenticate a user that it is makes CouchDB safe in a way that you enable only logged-in users to read and write from the database, so that it's completely hidden from the public. You could use cookies, you could use a certificate, you could use doc validation. As far as I understood, I'm pretty new to CouchDB, so I would just a general opinion.
It's done through, like you can set who can write and who can read. So if you set that, nobody that doesn't fulfill that requirement can read from it. So that's pretty set, but it's not set at the document level. You can't say, you can't read this document. You can with our couch, but yeah, without it, you sort of have to design things in a way that you basically make sure that if you have the right to view the database, you can do it. But I actually do that for our project by using virtual hosts and funneling everything through that. But that's maybe a different requirement. I had to have a open database, because I had to be able to support people that weren't logged in, because it's just logging hours. So and still not have them be able to look at what they were logging. So I had to funnel everything through that, and I had to make sure that there was no way of accessing that and still have a usable CouchDB instance. So it is possible if you are going that route, but usually you do the simplest thing, have these, roles that you specify, and they're pretty powerful.
Okay, we have another question here.
So first of all, I find that it's a good idea to have a new password or forgot password functionality, and Futon would be nice. But you have an external stack for it there, it makes it complicated. Maybe you can say, or you have admin access to the users database to get a secret. So maybe you could implement that functionality that you do on the Python stack also in the CouchDB itself. Is that not possible?
Yeah, I mean, you can, for example, easily do it in Erlang, you know. But even through an Erlang plugin, possibly, you know, because you don't, the problem is you want to have a wide set of deployment options, not just, oh, you have to have the latest version of this for it to work. But you could do something similar to this, but then it sort of depends on, you know, like how much you're doing in something that's running in a website, making sure that everything's going through, you know, like making sure that every step is, you know, solid. It's just about testing, you know, how well you can do it. But it would be implementable in JavaScript for Futon, possibly. At least, but not sending the email, of course.
There's another.
Sure, I mean, you can, sort of, I know, but yeah, it depends.
But maybe you find a solution for not having a follow-up email stack that needs an admin password.
But
that would be nice.
Yeah.
Yeah. Right now you have that issue that your Python code needs an admin password or an admin access to the users database, right?
You could do OAuth or something like that to have a token that's based, or, you know, like you could separate those concerns, you know, like I know that it's not good to have, you know, like it in have an access that's exposed in some manner, but yeah, it's different ways of doing things. It's all relative.
Okay, we have another question here.
It's maybe not a, it's not a question, more of a remark. If I understood right, you basically sign based on, you sign the username and the key, right?
Username and timestamp.
Timestamp, yeah. I'm new to CouchDB, so if a user gets deleted and then somebody new signs up with the same password, that would be a valid for the different user.
No, because he would have a different salt. Each time you change the password, each time, you know, something is done with the password, it gets a new salt. At least through the standard way of doing it. It might be possible to not do it. I have to just check. But yeah, it should have a new salt.
Okay. Are there any questions left? Okay, thanks a lot, very much. Okay, so yeah, it seems that we have it. I would like to thank again everybody for joining us here. I hope you had a nice day. It was the first CouchDB day, and for me personally, I just can say everything ran really perfectly. So the food was good, the location was super, and yeah, I hope you enjoyed yourself. I have one thing left personally, because you know, in my house there's a cellar, and some books are rotten over there. And because this is a book, maybe you saw that. It's in German, and Till is smiling because Till, stand up, come on. He's the co-author. No, he's the only author. No, that's not true. Okay, two guys from the community wrote this book, and it's actually only in German. if you're interested to have it, just go over here. I will put it here. Just take it. It's for CouchDB 1.2, but the basics are the same. So if you're new to CouchDB and if you can read in German, just take your copy over here. Just take it away. That's totally fine. Okay. Is Holger here already? No, he's in his office. Okay. Okay, first of all, I would like to ask you to thank again Sinnerschrader for having us here today. It was really awesome. Please give him a warm applause. Then we have to really thank our sponsors again. It's GitHub, it's Syncomo, it's Ubi Labs from Hamburg, actually. GFU, Peter is here somewhere. Where is he? Okay. IBM, Sinnerschrader for sure, Digital, Ocean, and Hoodie, and we have this nice banner from my family in between somewhere. Okay. Please thank them again really much. Then there's a special thing I would like to announce. This is our couch. This is Benoit's project, and he will sponsor the party tonight. So please thank him again. So the most interesting part, no, that's not true. The most important part, maybe. Don't show my personal emails, please. Okay, thank you. That's this guy over there who's trying to chat me. He's supposed to be here because he's from Sinnerschrader, the only one from Sinnerschrader. Okay, we have a party. We have a party at a place called Laundrette. And you can find it here. So the street is Ottenser Hauptstraße. It's even hard in German to say that. Sorry. Location is called Laundrette. There will be some people going over there, so they know the way. Hopefully someone is here who's going to take them. Julius, maybe? You know the place? Okay, cool. So just join him. And the only thing I have left to say is a big thank you. Do you want to say something else?
Thanks to all of our helpers who made the event possible. And also give Andy a big hand because he is responsible for all the nice details making this day awesome. So without him it wouldn't be possible.
The bigger details are from Robert. Please say thank you.